Happy Prop Queen Pod last kind of live stream. I'm the Prop Queen. Oh my God, happy birthday, Daniel. Yeah, excited to be celebrating with you today. I know it's the last live stream day, so I hope that you guys will all enjoy this. Of course, it's not that I'm going anywhere. We are just going to YouTube. Everything's going over to YouTube. So follow and subscribe Prop Queen Media on YouTube, and everything will be there. Tonight, we're going to talk NBA best bets. I'm going to be joined by WagerTalk Steve Merrill in about 5 minutes. We're going to talk NBA bets for him. Maybe he does college hoops. I don't know. I think he does little college hoops too. So maybe we'll get some of that action as well. I've got NBA prop edges. Today was a weird slate. At first, I was like, but I did find some pretty good edges in the market. Rick Sorkin question, since you always preach bankroll management, who do you fire $250 on parlay? Why do you fire $250 on parlays? They're 2 legs, and I feel like sometimes I'm getting on those 2 legs a good bang for my buck over at Prize Picks. I've just felt that I've been making money by doing it, but I agree. I don't love parlays, but I do partner with Prize Picks. So I actually feel that doing 2 legs on Prize Picks has done better for me than doing like $100 for 3 legs. I just like a 2-leg parlay, and I feel like it gives me the bang for my buck, but bankroll management is different for everybody. I also like to bet them individually for 100, like in increments of 100. So everything is on my Picket page that I bet separately. So you could see that I like to bet individual bets as well. So definitely take a look over at Picket Sports, and you could see everything that I actually bet. But the Prop Queen actually did there you go. Prop Queen Premium. So I definitely send that out every day. The Prop Queen Premium newsletter and you guys should have it in your inbox already for all the Prop Queen edges of the day that I like. So definitely check that out. And if you aren't a subscriber already, you can upgrade to premium. I send all the premium subscribers first dibs at all the props. Again, it's not like a pick selling service where I give you the props that I bet, but I'm telling you the reason that there's a lot of edges in the market. Today, they were hard to find. It took me like 8 hours of research today to find you guys about, I don't know. I think there's 4 I like that I'm going to give out in Prop Queen edges today. But then there's a long list of stuff with all the different numbers, like the Knicks, for example. I know it's 13.5-point spread, so buyer beware. But Cat has a good matchup tonight, despite the fact he's not playing well or enough. So, that's going to be interesting. But yeah, so today is the last live stream for a while. Kelly and I are going to be in San Francisco next week for the Super Bowl Media Week, which is going to be really fun and scary at the same time. I've never done San Fran, so if you guys have any recommendations for San Francisco, let us know. Would I do a weekly podcast with Kelly? We've talked about it. Things are coming. Things are in the works for Kelly and I. We just have to figure out the right approach. We definitely want to take everybody along for our adventures. We're going to be together not only in San Francisco for the Super Bowl, we will also be together in Vegas for March Madness. That's scary. Like, San Francisco doesn't scare me as much with Kel because we're going to be working a lot. We've got to be at Radio Row bright and early on Wednesday and Thursday. So there's not really going to be much time for us to mess around. And then we've got a 9 a.m. flight out of San Fran on Friday. Vegas scares me. Vegas, Kelly and I, it's definitely a marathon. If you've ever done March Madness, especially the first week of March Madness, we're going. Yes, we're doing Luke Combs in Vegas as well. That's what kind of set up the trip off. We realized that Luke Combs was going to be in Vegas the first weekend of March Madness. So we decided we are going to do Vegas, which we haven't done in a couple of years for March Madness. So I'm very nervous. The games start at 9 a.m. So you are at breakfast at like 7:30 a.m. for March Madness in Vegas. We were ripping up a ticket at breakfast at like 9:15. Like, we already lost like a first half. It was just and then we go to dinner at 9 p.m. and then we gamble and then we do it all over again. So yeah, Vegas March Madness, it is a marathon for sure, not a sprint. But that should be fun. And then I'm going to see her again. So Kelly and I have a lot coming up. So yes, we are thinking of doing something. Someone asked me, see money, if I was going to go to Alcatraz. And I was like, I don't think I have time. Yes, a lot of homeless in San Fran. We will be Ubering everywhere. Kelly doesn't even, you know how in New York City you are, oh, Craig Abel, March Madness, we get breakfast early. Nope, 7:30, we're down there. I don't know. The Westgate, I'm pretty sure we've had, we don't really go to the buffet at the Westgate. We go to Sid's, which is the breakfast spot at the Westgate. And it's great. They're open, ready to go. So that's what Kelly and I do for breakfast. Or we just get a coffee and a croissant at Starbucks. That line is always freaking long. Very long line. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting. But yeah, Kelly, when we were in Italy, they told you were supposed to walk everywhere in Italy, especially on the Amalfi Coast. They were like, you lose so much weight. You don't gain weight in Italy because you walk everywhere. Kelly would not walk. And this was pre-knee injury. She did injure her knee, so I'll give her that. But this was pre-knee injury that Kelly would not walk anywhere. And they say, oh, in Positano, it's like all walking. And it is, because it's all one-way roads up and down a cliff in Positano. You can't turn around. Like, you got to just go one way. And Kelly's like, yep, we're going to pay double. We're going to pay double the money. I'm not walking. So we don't walk. So that's okay for San Francisco. Where we'll be watching March Madness? Yeah, the Westgate. We're actually going to be at Barry's Steakhouse, of course, at Circa for dinner one night. Apparently, we're going with Bill Hackenberger, so I'm really excited about that. Then mostly we will be at the Westgate because our good friend John Murray is there, and we're not really there for that long, so we've got to make sure John sees us as much as possible. It is also the absolute best fan experience for watching March Madness and any big sporting event. Let's bring on my good friend from over at WagerTalk, Steve Merrill. Where is your favorite place, your favorite sports book out in Las Vegas?
The Superbook is a classic. I'm a little bit older. I remember the Stardust, which was, of course, where the line originated in the 90s, and then they blew it up. I was actually there the morning they blew it up. I think it was 2004 at like 4 or 5 a.m., so that was a bittersweet moment. But the Stardust was the historic book in the 70s and the 80s, even the 90s. And then the Westgate Superbook is up there. The Mirage Sportsbook was very famous in the late 90s. I'd say it was like the Stardust and the Mirage when I started. The MGM was a big one as well. I remember being at the MGM when I was like 22 years old there when I first started in the late 90s. And they have a bank of payphones around the corner from the sportsbook because it was illegal to have people don't remember, you could not have a cell phone. You couldn't have a camera in a casino till recently. And I don't know when all that changed, but I guess they kind of just gave in because everybody had camera phones the last 10 years. But man, when I started, like if you had a camera near a table game, that was a big no-no. They're going to run you up to the room real fast and check you out.
I had to scream at a friend of mine because she wasn't much of a gambler. And we weren't even in Vegas. This was in a casino in the Caribbean, I think, or even on a cruise. I forget where we were, but a friend of mine took her phone out while we're playing. And I'm like, oh, don't do it. You're going to get kicked out. Don't kick us out. Amateurs. I'm bringing that friend actually to Vegas with me.
Well, so here's how much it's changed though. When I was at the MGM, and I think this was like the spring of '97. It was my first year as a college basketball capper. I was like 22 years old, and I remember there was a bank of payphones right around the corner because you could not have a mobile device. And these runners for the betting syndicates had like earpieces, and they were hiding them. And they're basically middling games because the internet's on like a year or so old, right? There's very few internet sports books. So you would have 2 or 3 point differences in NBA totals daily. I mean, I was so used to this for a decade. You could just blindly play both sides of different sports books and make money. You don't see that anymore. Those good old days are gone. But yeah, there'd be runners with two-way radios. One would be at the Mirage, one at the MGM, and they'd be middling over 214, under 217. But the bank of payphones
screwed all of us because now they're just that much faster with all their fancy tools.
Well, it's funny because there was like signs. There was a plaque right next to the betting counter that says like cellular and mobile devices are prohibited by Nevada law. But right around the corner was a bank of payphones, like 30 payphones. So they were okay with it, but the gaming commission wasn't, if that makes any sense. They put the payphones right around the corner from the sports book so people could still do it. But yeah, times have changed to say the least.
Times have definitely changed, but at least the times have changed and allowed for people like me over here in New York to be able to enjoy the sports betting experience, because Vegas was too far away for me back in the day. Steve Merrill, we've got NBA, we've got college hoops. We haven't done much college hoops on this show yet. I know over at WagerTalk on the YouTube page that you've been doing Saturdays. Now that football's over, you're going to do weekend days of college hoops action. What have you seen throughout college basketball so far?
Yeah, so Arizona won again last night. I bring that up because I thought that might be the game where they finally fell. They were only a 1.5-point favorite at BYU last night. They held on for a 3-point win, a very narrow win. They remained 21-0, and the only other undefeated team is actually going tonight. Miami of Ohio, 20-0, is about a 9.5, 10-point favorite. At some point, one of these teams is going to lose. And by the way, the only other time I think that Arizona really is going to have a tough test. The only game they're going to be an underdog the rest of the season is in about 3 Saturdays. Late February, they're at Houston. And that, of course, will be in my Saturday, as you mentioned, top 25 video. That'll be a big game. So I think that'll be the one that maybe gets Arizona. They're more of a high-flying offense. Houston, a good half-court defense. But I bring that up because I still think the best team in the country is Michigan. And I rank them as the number 1 overall squad, ahead of Arizona, ahead of Houston, and ahead of Duke. And they play Nebraska tonight. There's 365 Division I college basketball teams, Ariel, and Michigan has the number 1 2-point defense and 2-point offense in the nation. They're the best shooting team offensively and the best defensive team from 2-point range out of 365. That's how good they are. And, when you're looking to win 6 games in a row in March Madness, you need this consistency from the 2-point range. Teams can get hot from the 3, and anybody can beat anybody on one given day because of it. But it's very hard to stay hot for 6 straight games. Louisville last night takes more 3-point shots than anybody in the nation. Over 54% of their total shots are threes. And we saw what happened. They lost by 31 to Duke. Duke much better down low. So I still think Michigan's the team to beat this year. Arizona's getting a lot of love. They're getting every first place vote right now in the AP poll, but I've actually got Michigan as the best team in the country.
How much are you willing to lay with Michigan tonight?
Yeah, the thing about the 2-point offense is that, you get more consistent scoring, so they can definitely win by margin. And you look at some of their recent wins, they just beat Ohio State by 12. They beat Indiana by 14. Almost every win this year has been by double digits. I project about an 11-point win here in this game, though. I rate Nebraska as a top 15 team, though, this year. So this is going to be a competitive game here, and anything is possible. So I really don't want to lay much more than 10 or 11, and the current line is 12. By the way, it opened 10.5. It's up to 11.5, 12. There has been some sharp money on Michigan, but at this point, I think it's getting a little pricey.
People in the chat also talking about Michigan State. I know they're in action tonight up against Rutgers, laying 14.5. How do you see Michigan State?
Yeah, it's really a good year of basketball in the state of Michigan. You got Michigan and Michigan State. Of course, the Detroit Pistons playing as well as anybody in the Eastern Conference. WagerTalk Hub, as you know, is in Detroit, Michigan, so they're excited.
John Michael's going to be thrilled you said that if he's listening.
A lot of good Michigan basketball. I think the Spartans right now are probably like a 2 seed if the tournament was to begin today. I got Michigan as a 1 seed. So this is a really good squad here. And I project about a 15-point win against Rutgers tonight. And it's on the road. Strange things can always happen when you're away from home. And laying 14.5 on the road is a little dicey. So the question becomes, can Rutgers hang here? Problem is Rutgers does not take many 3-point shots. The one weakness of the Michigan State defense, they're always big and physical down low. Great rebounding team with Izzo every year, but they give up a lot of threes. Rutgers doesn't take many threes, and they don't shoot the 3 well. So I think this game does have a little less upset alert because of that. If you're going to play it, I would still lay the 14.5 with Michigan State.
You did say crazy things can happen on the road, and we do have a good matchup tonight with a ranked opponent in Arkansas, ranked 15th on the road, laying 2.5 at Oklahoma. Short spread there, total 167.5, about -2.5 on the road. Is that something crazy things could happen?
Yeah, I think home court is more legit, or home advantage is stronger in college basketball than any sport I handicap. The NFL, it's almost non-existent nowadays. It's gone from being that standard 3 for decades down to about a point. Some are 0 now in the regular season. That's why we see so many NFL road favorites. Playoffs a little bit different, obviously. We saw home dogs do well once again this season. By the way, Ariel, I thought of you. Did I not say on last call Sunday that Denver line was just like Chicago last week, in which I wanted to play against the Bears, I wanted to play against the Broncos, but the point spreads were too high? I meant to clip that because they lost by exactly 3 and covered. So
I was
home
very
field,
glad I had Denver, and I was
I did
actually
too.
very mad because the Patriots stopped throwing the football, and it really needed Drake May to go over his pass attempts. The stupid snow needed to hold out for another couple hours.
Yeah, and I had some shows I gave out Stidham over 200 passing yards. I didn't have a chance. I knew that early on, the way they were blitzing him, and then when the weather kicked in. But yeah, home field in the NFL playoffs is legit. Not much in the regular season. Home court in the NBA is not what it used to be. The travel factor fatigue isn't much for these squads anymore. College football, there is some home field advantage, but it's the most extreme in college basketball for several reasons. First of all, arenas like Cameron are unusual. The sight lines are different in some of the smaller gyms versus the big gyms. Human nature of the officials. They might not realize it, but home teams get more calls. The crowd gets on them. But the biggest reason is just the travel factor. Unlike the NBA, in which they're taking private jets, they're sleeping on the plane, they got plenty of leg room. These 6'10", 20-year-olds are on commercial flights sometimes, or they're busting it most of the time now that we're in conference play. And they're playing 2 or 3 road games in a row. And the offensive numbers are definitely weaker on the road than they are for home teams. So, yeah, I do like Oklahoma in this game. I think it's a good spot for the Sooners to get back on track. And with Arkansas coming off back-to-back wins, big home game this Saturday against Kentucky after 2 straight home wins, this is one of those kind of sandwich situations. Oklahoma's lost 6 straight games in conference. They're just 1-6 straight up. I think this is a do-or-die game for Oklahoma. I do like the home court edge tonight as a home dog.
Well, speaking of conferences, there's another big conference game tonight, which based on what I think I'm seeing in the conference, Marquette's 2-8 in the conference. And then you've got Creighton 6-3. However, Creighton's only laying 1.5 at Marquette tonight, 9:30 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, Shaka might be on the hot seat. Shaka Smart, of course, took VCU to the Final Four back in 2011. He'd been under Donovan at Florida, and he came up through the ranks. He had the Texas job, didn't do great at Texas, and he really hasn't done great at Marquette either. I saw that as well. I had to double check that when I saw they were just 2-8 in the conference, because I broke this game down earlier today on the best betting show ever with the president, Joe Ranieri. And I think they're 7-14 overall. Another one of those home dogs that maybe they're on the hot seat. You take a look here, but it's hard for me to back Marquette. They're playing some terrible defense. Creighton's not been great defensively either, and that's why we've seen this total go from 151 up to 155. But I actually used a free play on the under in this game on the show earlier today. And Marquette does not shoot the three well. Creighton doesn't give up many threes. And the way Marquette scores under Shaka for years has been that havoc defense that he started at VCU a decade ago. Creighton does not turn the ball over. So I think it's going to be difficult for Marquette to score in this game. That's another reason I would not look at that home dog tonight. But I do think the under 155 has some value.
Craig Abel wants to know, speaking of Kentucky, would you bet them 6.5 plus 6.5 versus Vandy?
Kentucky's an interesting team. I think they've paid over $20 million to these guys. And Pope came out after the first few weeks when they started 2-3 and said, "I've done a terrible job." You got to love it when a coach has said, "I've done a terrible job." So I kind of had them on my radar as maybe a team at some point they start playing up to their talent level, can turn things around. I've used them in select spots here or there this season. I still think they're probably a little undervalued now based on the slow start. So, yeah, I'm not afraid to lean with them tonight. But they've been a really random kind of bipolar team this season.
I know you've got to go soon. Let's get over to the NBA. NBA action tonight. It was a tough slate for me from props. I had to dig. It took me 7-8 hours to find some good prop edges in this slate. Some larger spreads, injuries, question marks on players. What plays did you or are you willing to give us here on the show?
So I used a college best bet tonight at WagerTalk.com. I posted a bonus free play people can go get in the Purdue-Indiana game. I gave out those 2 free plays, including that Marquette game on the college on the best betting show. I used nothing in the NBA tonight. It's tricky, Ariel, because like you just said, injuries, load management. We're getting closer to the All-Star break in a few weeks. You really have to tread lightly. And look, I'm number 1 all time in the history of Wager Talk in units 1. I've hit 60% the last 2 months. And I average maybe 1 play a day or every other day in the NBA. It really is a selectivity spot type of sport for me. The one edge you have as a bettor, I've always said, is that you don't have to bet every game, but they have to put a line on every game. Yeah. And tonight we have, 7 NBA games. As far as some of the money moves, Detroit, I talked about what a great season they're having. They opened 5.5. It's now 7.5. Did you ever think a couple years ago you'd see the Detroit Pistons as a touchdown favorite against the Nuggets 2 years ago, especially when the Nuggets won the whole thing? The Pistons had the worst record in the NBA. But I'm not getting in front of this Detroit team. They've been on a monster run. We'll see how they play in the thin air and altitude tonight. But there's teams like that, that underachieve for years and years. The odds makers have trouble catching up to them when they do it on the next season, and they're 33-11 now. Nuggets are still banged up, and the Chicago Bears were the worst point spread team in the NFL for like a decade, and we saw them go on that monster run this year, right? Or when the Patriots started to falter a couple years ago, we saw them go on that monster slide against the spread. So Detroit's been a nice moneymaker this season, and I'm in no hurry to start fading them anytime soon.
Steve Merrill, make sure to check him out over at Steve Merrill on social media, but definitely on that WagerTalk YouTube where he absolutely crushes it. Steve, thanks as always. Good luck to your bets tonight.
Thanks, Hero. Great seeing you.
Loved having him on for the last live stream. It was great. He's so sharp, but his college basketball stuff, incredible. Now that everyone's diving into college basketball, I wish I did, but it's not a prop sport. College, not really props. Can't trust college kids. I have to do NBA, unfortunately, even though this league is a pain in my ass. But someone's got to do it, right? I did find some edges today in the NBA. It took a while, so I hope you all appreciate it because this was a tough one. Prop queen edges of the day in the NBA on now. Short slate, lots of injuries. For example, Jokic is still out. Devin Booker's not playing. Kawhi is questionable. Portland's on a back-to-back, but we're going to take advantage of that. These are some of the prop edges I liked today, and then there's going to be some that I'm going to discuss anyway. Portland's second leg of a back-to-back. And how does Drew Holiday do? Well, we just made some nice money on the Drew Holiday spot yesterday. Over 1.5 threes, minus 130. We cashed it in the first half. Guess what? Drew Holiday now is at minus 160 to go 2+ threes tonight against the terrible Washington defense that is bottom 10 in threes allowed. So we're going to deviate. First of all, I would never bet that back-to-back threes. I'd be happy to hit it the first game, and if it didn't hit yesterday, I probably would have gone after it today. But since it did hit yesterday, I was like, nah, no Drew Holiday threes. Plus, you couldn't anyways, too juiced. So then I started diving into where else does Washington struggle? Well, they've actually allowed the third most Start over. Washington's allowed the third most assists per game. 67% of point guards in the last 10 games have gone over their assist prop when facing Washington. Since Drew Holiday just did pretty well offensively yesterday, he's probably going into that distributor facilitator role today. Against bottom 10 defenses this year, not only is Drew Holiday averaging just under 18 points a game, he's averaging just under 9 assists. I know the minutes have been down a bit because he's coming off injury. I was looking at there's 5 games this year that Drew Holiday played a team bottom 10 in points allowed. He's gone over 5.5 assists in 4 of those 5 games. Again, averaging just under 9 assists per game. Drew Holiday should have at least 6 assists today, and the book hasn't caught on yet, which is why it's at plus 120. Sorry, Broncos fire offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi after 3 seasons, FYI, in case you wanted that breaking news. That game starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time between Portland and Washington. Portland laying 7.5, which tells me Portland should be putting up points against this bad defense with a 232.5 total. And who's going to do that? Everyone else except Drew Holiday, who's going to dish the ball out at least 6 times. Kings and Knicks. This one was interesting. This is what took me a long time to handicap because, of course, you're getting a Kings team that's a terrible defense. So I had to figure out, okay, the Knicks probably are winning this game. They're 13.5-point favorites. They just lost to the Kings on January 14th in Sacramento, 112-101. Total 230.5. Knicks have been playing badly. It's a great spot for them at the Garden to try to, quote-unquote, get right. And, of course, the spread is indicating that. I will be honest. The numbers really love Cat tonight. Obviously, the numbers are low because Cat has been playing terribly and his minutes have gone down. If you want to take the risk, literally every one of my numbers indicates that Cat should go over everything. He's averaging against bottom 10 defenses this year at home, 22 points, 12 rebounds, and 4 assists. His prop is 19.5. His rebound prop's 10.5, and his assist prop's 2.5. He's averaging over all of that. So, of course, unless it's a blowout, of course, if his minutes are restricted, then he's not going over. But I'm just saying, if you would like to bet that. Plus, with Brunson and Hart against bottom 10 defenses this year, Cat's averaging 21 points a game, 12.5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Pretty much going over all his props. If you want to take the risk, you can take Cat over. I don't want to take the risk. I'm probably not betting this game, to be honest with you, but this is where I found edges in the market. I also found an edge with Jalen Brunson, which I'm sure more people are willing to put their money on. The 37.5 PRA. In a game where the Knicks want to win because they just lost to the Kings a couple of weeks ago and they're home at the Garden where Jalen Brunson loves to play, he's averaging against bottom 10 defenses 40 PRA. At home at the Garden against bad defenses, he's averaging just under 40 PRA. And with Cat and Hart against bad defenses, he's averaging 38 PRA. So this number at 37.5 really stood out because he goes over for the most part. And obviously, if the Knicks do cover, and obviously if they put up a lot of points, it's going to have to be Jalen Brunson, right? Don't bet Josh Hart. I'm sorry if it does hit, but all his numbers were too high. Or spot on. Like, I have his numbers at between 11 and 12 points. He's at 11.5. I have him between 7 to 9 rebounds. He's at 7.5. I have him at about 5 assists. He's at 5.5. So, like, everything was kind of spot on with him, and his numbers kind of fluctuated. Hart overall against bad defenses, at home against bad defenses with Cat and Brunson. If Cat was, like, out, then maybe, but I didn't like the Josh Hart numbers today, so I was staying away. Another prop, I missed this one. Another prop in that Kings and Knicks game that did stand out was Russell Westbrook under 15.5 points. Russell Westbrook under 15.5 points. He's actually gone under in 6 of 8 games on the road with Domantas Sabonis, and the Knicks allow the 10th least points per game. 71% of point guards have actually gone under their points prop against the New York Knicks. Wait, 1 second. I'll take this off for a sec. The Bucks and Sixers game. Sixers laying 10.5, total 219.5. Giannis still out. Philly's on the second leg of a back-to-back. They got embarrassed in Charlotte, 130-93 yesterday afternoon, but Paul George and Joel Embiid did not play. They're questionable today. I really wanted to like the Tyrese Maxey or Paul George over threes or over points. Again, numbers were spot on. In fact, Tyrese Maxey against bad perimeter defenses at home averages less points per game. Paul George at home, he does a little better. I have him at 15 points and props 14.5, so it's really spot on. So I don't trust it. So I'm staying away from this game. But the Bucks do allow the 9th most threes per game. Philly also allows the 8th most rebounds per game and 4th most assists. But again, with Paul George and Joel Embiid playing tonight, I don't know if I could trust that either. I also don't trust the Pelicans and the Thunder game because the Thunder are laying 2 touchdowns against New Orleans. Total 233.5. Pelicans, it said everyone was playing tonight, but whoever knows with Zion. Pelicans are bottom 10 in pretty much every statistical category, but can we really trust that OKC's players are playing the whole game? So I have to stay away from a double-digit spread. I wanted to play this Detroit and Denver game. I know I'm giving you a lot of no's to games I'm playing, but like sometimes, like Steve Merrill said before, sometimes the best edge is not betting it. I don't have an edge in Detroit and Denver because we've only had a 2-game sample size of games without Nikola Jokic and with Jonas Valanciunas. So how the hell are we really going to have numbers to tell us what the hell is going to happen? Also, Denver's without Christian Braun and Aaron Gordon, in addition to being out without Nikola Jokic. And again, 2-game sample size against a great Detroit team who's one of the best defenses in the NBA. 3rd least points per game allowed, 4th least rebounds per game allowed, least assists per game allowed. So I wanted to find edges for unders on Denver, but I couldn't find them because there's only like a 2-game sample size. So I'm out. Brooklyn, Phoenix, I didn't like anything there. Devin Booker's out tonight for Phoenix, so blah. But this game, 10 p.m. Eastern time. I love this game tonight. Ivica Zubac, James Harden. It's their time to shine. Quite questionable, by the way, but I like these plays anyway. I already bet them. Keontae George is out, by the way, and so is Yusuf Nurkic for Utah. Ivica Zubac over his points and rebounds. 25.5. I even grabbed to 26.5 on Prize Picks, unfortunately, but that's all they had. And I don't mind it. It was actually fine. I have him at 28. Ivica Zubac is averaging 16 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 assists when up against teams that are a bottom 10 defense. He is still averaging over 25.5 points and rebounds on the road against teams that are bad defensively. He's averaging 27 to 28 points and rebounds against teams that are bottom 10 in rebounds allowed. That's what he's getting tonight in this Utah team. The worst defense in the NBA and one of the worst rebounding teams in the NBA. Because Zubac should have a great time against this Utah team, who, again, is without their center, Jusuf Nurkic. They have no size. Zubac's over. And again, the spread's only 8.5. So, I kind of think that, it still could be a blowout, but I think they play. James Harden. First off, I do hope Kawhi's a late scratch because that would be really beneficial to us. I don't know if you guys saw, I tweeted it out earlier. And again, I still like it anyway with or without Harden. Let me see. I had the chart. Do I not have it up anymore? Okay, well, I tweeted it over at Prop Queen Sports on X. I will pull the chart real quick for you guys. This is just if Kawhi's out tonight. Those are James Harden's numbers on the road without Kawhi this year. All green over points. All green. Not only that, Kawhi just did have a huge game against Utah the last time out. Harden put up, I think, 20. Harden's getting a bottom 10 defense, a bottom 10 perimeter defense. In matchups against the bottom 10 defense, Harden's averaging 26 points a game on the road as well. Against bottom 10 perimeter defenses, Harden's averaging 22 points a game, or 20 and 25 on the road. So you're getting all of that mixed in. You could go points and rebounds too, because Harden's rebound prop is off. It's 4.5 with heavy juice to the over. Points and rebounds then is off as well. He should be at 5.5 rebounds, but he's at 4.5. So that's another edge. I just went with points because, again, I like to bet what didn't happen in game 1 to happen in game 2, with Harden putting up, I think, only 20 in game 1 or the last game, but they put the prop at 24.5, and Kawhi had the big game last game. Then they flip-flop, and I think Harden goes off from outside, which should help this points prop go over. So I'm going to go Harden over points. I'm going to be pissed if it doesn't go over, but his points and rebounds does, because I gave that out too. But I went with points over. Zubac's over points and rebounds. Brunson over PRA, and Drew Holiday over assists. Let me look at the chat real quick because I've just been rambling. Making sure Sixers blow out. Just need Bobby to show up for my fantasy team. I know I have to take them rebound today, bro. He's been crushing it. Kawhi's going to be the Golden State Warriors. Curry's final chip incoming. Kawhi. I can't with Kawhi. Again, he's like the epitome of the league, though. We never know when this man's playing. We never know when they care, right? And like Steve Merrill said, the trade deadline's coming up. I think it's February 5th is the trade deadline. February 5th at 3 p.m. Eastern. So we've got to be careful. I also saw rumors that Drew Holiday, they were looking at him going to the Knicks. Saw those rumors as well. Well, Kelly and I have a March Madness bracket. Yeah, we did last year. So we'll probably do it again this year is my guess. I think we are. There's also some golf tournament that we're promoting. So check out the golf as well. I think we have a golf survivor. I think it'll be, I forgot I don't know. There's a golf tournament that we're promoting for Splash as well. So definitely sign up for the golf tournament on there. But yeah, we will also have a survivor for March Madness for sure. Our survivor was doing, I don't know if you guys, I did tell you guys this yesterday, but I'm so sad but I'm kind of not sad, but I'm sad. If the Rams were in the Super Bowl, if the Rams won the Super Bowl, I was set up to win Survivor. Because I went into last week in Survivor with the Patriots, the Broncos, and the Rams available. So I was technically able to position myself where if the Rams won, I would have won either way. So I picked the Patriots and the Broncos. I just didn't have faith that either of those two would win. So I ended up winning in Survivor up to this point. But now I can't win because the Rams. So I have a Seattle ticket at plus 165 to win the Super Bowl. So now I just hope the Seahawks win. We're going to win, get an nail biter. Yeah. Knicks. Yeah, we'll see. Whatever. Of course, freaking Knicks come in with actual aspirations to win something and then they suck. Surprise, surprise. Anyway, Royal Locks of the Day. Best bets. Here we go. Royal Lock of the Day. Let's run it back. I did 100 this time for 3 legs. I didn't want to bet. Speaking of like bankroll management, I didn't want to bet 250 again today because we hit yesterday. So I was like, all right, we'll just bet 100 today on these 3 legs. I'm pretty confident. Drew Holiday, 5 or more assists. Avika Zubats over his points and rebounds. And James Harden with the Gremlins. So we took it down a little bit because it was 25.5, but I don't like that. I like 23.5 over. So over 23 or more than 23.5 points for Harden. $100 makes you $475 if you bet it over at Prize Picks. You could use my promo code PropQueen and you get, if you bet $5 in a lineup, you'll get, I think it's $50 in lineups free. Now I have to double check that promo. Hold on. I'll show you guys the promo. Where is it? Prize Picks. Here it is. Yeah. Play $5, get $50 instantly in lineups if you use promo code PropQueen. And I am, again, on Prize Picks with this lineup today. Drew Holiday, 5 or more assists. Avika Zubats, over points and rebounds. James Harden, 23.5 points, more than that. Hopefully we run it back like yesterday. Yesterday was a nice little hit. We had the under on Jaden Sharp points. We had the more than 3s prop hit as well, but that wasn't in the lineup. We had one more. What was the other one? It was another less than prop. Why am I forgetting? Do I have my own Discord? No. I mean, I do. Actually, I do have a Discord. I don't know how to use it, though, guys. I don't know how to use the Discord. Why am I forgetting what the less than prop was yesterday? Donovan Mitchell, less than assist. That hit so early. Yeah, so I hope that we hit again. But yeah, Al Gore 48. I have a Discord. I set it up months ago, but I have no freaking clue how to use that app. None. Like, I tried, and I have, like, all these sections on the Discord set up for, like, points and stuff. I mean, here, I'll show you. Discord. I should do, like, a little tutorial, but, like, I don't understand it. And I literally feel like this reminds me of, like, where I bought a fake ID. Baseball props, basketball props, football props, and hockey props. I have it all in the Discord, like all these different sections. I think I tried to say baseball. I guess that could be a good way, though, for all of us to connect since I'm not going to do the live stream, right? Should we do a Discord chat? Should we do a Discord? It's up there. It's the Prop Queen server. Every once in a while, but it's not as easy as years prior. It's the Prop Queen server. So how do I tell people to sign up for? Like, how do I tell people about the Discord? Like, how do I send it out? How do people know? You know what? There's 5 members on here somehow. Okay, Daniel loves Discord. I'll definitely do the Discord. What do you use the Discord for, guys? Like, what do you do with it? Everyone just puts their props in there. So I have to send a link. Link to your YouTube. Link it in the description of my YouTube page, the Discord. I'll post it in the chat right now, and you guys could all join. Copy link. Share invite. Here, let me airdrop it to my computer, I guess. Oh, now it's on my computer. Display name. What should everyone call you? Prop Queen, duh. Oh, it's telling me I don't want to be invited. Hold on. Now I'm confused. Now I want to get it to the... Hold on. I'm going to try to send this chat into... Let's see. Is that the right username? Yes, it is. Oh, okay. The Prop Queen server. Invite to server. Copy. All right. Here you go, everybody. Here's the Discord. So now everybody... I can email it to my subscribers about the Discord? Okay, I could do that too. What do you guys want me to talk about in the Discord, though? Because I have the YouTube. I have the newsletter. So what do we do in the Discord? What do we do in it? Someone explain to me what we do in the Discord. I also have plans for, we're not going to go live anymore every day, but I do think that we'll do some live streams of watch parties, like watching games. I probably won't be able to do a live Super Bowl watch party because I'm going to have people at my apartment, but we could like live watch games, like big games and stuff, and maybe I'll have Coach on for some like big Knicks game and we could do that. Live bets. Oh, okay. So live bets are on there and chit chat about shoes and outfits. Thanks, Sir Mackie. Hilarious. If you missed a prop bet, you can let us all know immediately. We're interactive with everyone without you always monitoring like a message board. We talk about what we talk about here, but just right. So that's the thing, AOD. Like I wanted to create a community again because I'm sad that like the reason I wanted to do the live stream was because I wanted a community. And again, we have created one on here for damn sure we have, but it just wasn't making money the way I wanted it to. But the Discord, we could all keep in touch. LeBong James, AOD is here. I'm going to have to tell Coach to get in on here, AOD. Okay, so you guys are all in general. Do you guys see all the, like, it says baseball props, basketball props, football props? So I guess I could throw, like, my prize picks lineup in here, right? Let's see. You know what's funny about you need to register on, you need to register on Discord. What do you mean I have to register on Discord? I did it. Can I send link on X? I'll check. Can you? I don't know. Okay, I'll post it on X today. I'm scared. I feel like this is a scary place. Here's the thing. I always treated this live stream like a show and like a real like TV show. And then I realized when I was watching other people's live streams, just because I was like so curious about what people do on live streams, that everyone's so casual like this. I feel like I was doing it all wrong. Could have just been so casual and not have to be so buttoned up, which is what I'm going to do for the live streams going forward. See, the YouTube will be like business. YouTube is going to be like, we are talking props. Here's all my props of the day. Here's there to take advantage of. And I'll have some interviews on there as well. And then the live streams in the future will be just like shooting the shit. What was I just gonna? Oh, I'm looking. So if let's say I was to post my prize picks lineup into the Discord, right? I'll say, in case you missed it, my prize picks lineup for tonight. So did you guys get that in the Discord? Ooh. Were you a part of a different Discord or somebody else have your name? What do you mean? What do you mean, Al Gore 48? Am I going to tweet the Discord? Justin, I just put it in the chat. You're on YouTube. Can't you get that if you're in the YouTube, Justin? The Discord? I'm so confused, though. Edit channel. Can everyone see? Yeah, none of these are private channels. You saw Prop Queen in a different prop Discord? Couldn't be me. It's just, no, I don't have another prop Discord. It's just me. It's the prop queen. Mine's the prop queen. So if you saw a prop queen, that's not the prop queen. That's just prop queen. It's not the one. You know, like I'm the one and only. So whoever else is prop queen is a fraud. See, look, I tried to put like 1K prop in there in baseball season. If you're in the server, can you guys see all of them? Like, can you see the baseball props, the basketball props, the football props? Can you see all that? You get everyone on Discord, you'll never have a life again. Oh boy. I'm scared, Sean. I'm scared. You might need mods so crazies don't spam on Discord. What does that mean? See, I'm scared. I don't know what I'm getting myself into. This looks so sketch. Discord looks so sketchy. Like, they really need to improve this app because it really just looks like Discord totally looks like the sites my parents used to tell me I'm not allowed on as a kid. MySpace looks less sketchy than this. But I'm going to do it. I need somebody to run it as a mod and filter the spam bots. Who's going to do that? What do you think? I'm made of money? How am I supposed to? I'd rather pay for somebody to make sure that I don't I don't know. I'd rather somebody edit my videos for me. Everyone told me I need to get on this bandwagon though. I know FanDuel has this. Ugh, I'm scared. Okay, well, we're just going to monitor it, I guess. Another thing I have to freaking monitor. I hope you all have fun in the Discord together. I mean, I want to keep in touch with everybody, so... Yeah, I get a lot of alerts, too. I'm in some Discords for some other things that I don't pay attention to, but... I'll just keep muting this thing. I don't know. Great. Well, we have a Discord now, so everyone, I hope you enjoy it. And that's where we're going to communicate from now on. So I hope that... no, I do. I want to keep in touch with everybody. I like talking to all you guys every day. And I know that that's going to be taken away from us for a small bit of time while I'm just on YouTube. Everything's going to be at YouTube at Prop Queen Media, so make sure to check it out. And if you want to keep in touch, I guess join the Discord. But I'm going to do live streams, watch party live streams. I will do webinars, which is going to be a new thing as well. Oh, you posted the baseball tab. Can't wait for that. I'm going to do webinars too. So I think the big thing those will be live, the webinars. The big thing about webinars that I think is really cool is before each season, I always feel very overwhelmed. I always feel very overwhelmed by, oh my gosh, I don't remember how to handicap this sport. And then I refresh my memory and then it all comes back. That's kind of what the webinars will be before each season, before each big event, helping you guys refresh your brain on how to handicap certain things. And maybe you'll learn something about handicapping it better. So we'll do some webinars. Those will be live. And we'll do some live streams of watch parties. I really want to do a Knicks watch party with Coach. But YouTube's where it's at. So follow the Prop Queen Media at YouTube. Get all of the Prop Queen edges there. I'll have some really cool interviews as well that typically couldn't come on the live stream because of the timing of the live stream. And also a lot of interviews, you guys were like, oh, I want picks. So the YouTube will also have some really cool interviews with people that aren't giving out picks, but they're telling you about the gambling industry from a different perspective. Seeing where the future of the gambling industry is going will be cool. And then also a bunch of how-tos. I'm going to be doing a lot more, too, of the Prop Queen method. The Prop Queen method is showing you guys how my process works. So this way you guys will be able to bet props like I do, which has been profitable. So it's all about teaching the Prop Queen method. And I said this last night, process over picks. That's where you get the long-term gains. Learn that from Yanni the Greek. Will all your good stuff be on the prop server? I don't know. I got to figure all this out. I think the Discord will be, because that's also really all the good stuff is in the Prop Queen newsletter. So the Prop Queen subscribers at the newsletter get all the good stuff. Then the Discord and the YouTube will be kind of similar. The Discord will probably come last because no one's paying me for the damn Discord. I got to go to where I'm getting paid, guys. I'm doing this I'm doing this on my own with my own money. Not really getting paid by many people yet. So I got to do this all where the money is. And that's YouTube, to be completely honest with you. I'm providing free content to a mega corporation. What do you mean? I don't know what you're saying. Scred. Yes, this is my full-time job. Thank you very much. You're funny, Craig Gable. Anyway, just in case you guys missed it, and I posted it in the Discord. Here's my prize picks lineup for tonight. Drew Holiday, more than 5 assists. Ivica Zubac, more than 26.5 points and rebounds. And James Harden, more than 23.5 points. You are not paying for YouTube. YouTube is free. So is the Discord. But the propqueen.com subscription does cost you something. It costs money to run the site, so it's got to cost money to contribute to it. But at least you get everything to your inbox first before everybody else sees it. And you don't have to worry about watching or listening to me, because for people like Scred6792, you clearly don't like listening to me. So even though you're here, you could just get stuff to your inbox, and then you don't have to hear my voice. You could just read the words. Good luck to all your bets tonight, everybody. I will see you on the YouTube channel over at Prop Queen Media.